Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Pakulski here with the Training After 40 series. How do you build muscle after 40? Gentlemen, there's a very specific method out there that works for everyone over 40. It's called the Muscle Intelligence Method, and it's very much focused around 3 different types of training. We're going to do weight training, which breaks down into a couple different subcategories, which I'll tell you in a minute. We're going to do aerobic training, which also breaks down into 2 different subcategories, maybe 3. And we're also going to do mobility training. So we have 3. We have weight training, cardiovascular training, and mobility training. You must train all of these on a weekly basis or you will run into problems. The way I explain problems is at some point in your life, the walls start closing in around you. And our responsibility as men is we're going to keep that wall as far away as possible. And I want to maintain my capability, the highest level of physical capability when I'm 70, 80, 90 and beyond. Ultimately is the ultimate expression of longevity. The ultimate expression of freedom is, can I do what I want to do when I want to do with who I want to do it at the level I want to do it? So the goal is, the true hack to life is, how do I maintain maximum function physically? All right, so when it comes to weight training, we want to make sure we do 3 different types of training really specifically. The first one is you got to get strong. So you want to choose exercises that you do really well, that have a pretty big bang for your buck. That doesn't always mean compound exercises, by the way. Compound exercises are not necessarily better than isolation exercises, regardless of what people teach you. It's not true. It's been disproven in science that isolation exercises actually increase the amount of motor unit recruitment. So put that aside, we have to get strong. And so finding exercises that you mechanically fit into really well that aren't going to damage your body. For example, I squat really well because I have proportions to fit into a squat. Someone who has long legs, long femurs specifically, may not squat really well. Maybe they're more suited for a deadlift. Find the things that work really well for you and get really, really strong at those. Like push yourself, push the physical limits in those all the time, safely. That's one. So we got to get strong. Second one is we got to build muscle. And muscle building splits into 2 subcategories. So it's the ones that are output based, which is really going to focus on building muscle. And the other one is I got to build my level of capability. So what that really looks like for me as an aging man, we're all aging, I guess, is I want to be strong and capable at every specific range of motion in every specific joint. I know that sounds absurd. Like, what are you talking about? But if I can't get into certain positions, it limits my abilities. So if I can't get my knee way over my toe, well, then I'm limited. If I can't get my hand way over my head, well, then I'm limited, right? If I can't get into all these different joint positions, it's in some way limiting my quality of life or my long-term ability. And so there's a lot of reasons why you might not be able to get into those positions. Maybe it's injuries, maybe it's stress, maybe it's the nervous system being hypertonic. But ultimately, gents, you got to train that stuff. You got to build it into your routine. So that's the one pillar, which is your weight training. Second pillar is your mobility. You got to train mobility. I have to be able to get into all ranges. Personally, I've simplified the heck out of my mobility routines. I love to do yoga. I don't always get a chance to do yoga, so I don't depend on it. If I get to do yoga once or twice a week, which seldom happens, then I'm really, really grateful that I get to do it. But instead of that, I've actually simplified my mobility routine to 10 minutes every morning. So just before I jump in the shower, I'll do a little bit of breath work, I'll do a little bit of mobility work. And so it gets a little sweat going, gets me feeling nice and loose. And I'm always doing inventory of my body. Like, what doesn't feel right? What feels tight? What feels loose? And how do I ultimately get my body feeling like it's got a uniform tone all the way from the top of my head, all the way to my feet? Should feel like I can move freely. If something feels rigid, I've got too much tone in that muscle. I've got to alleviate that tone. So that's pillar number 2. We've got weight training. We've got mobility. I will come back with another video on how to approach your mobility. Pillar number 3 is your aerobic fitness or anaerobic fitness, your ability to produce energy. So anaerobically means, am I getting my heart rate to a peak level? There's really 2 types of training we do there. We do like try to hit your peak heart rate and try to maintain a high amount of a heart rate over a long period of time, 8 to 12 minutes. And that's a really challenging type of training, but you got to do it at least once a week. So we hit our peak heart rate 1 to 2 times a week. We hit our high duration 8 to 12 minutes once a week. And then we do about 2 to 3 hours of what's so-called zone 2, which is this low level intensity cardio where I can maintain a conversation, but I don't want to, and I'll do it. So that's 2 to 3 hours every week. The high intensity stuff you can do once a week for 8 to 12 minutes, which is excruciating, terrible, probably the worst thing you can do in your week, but important. And then we'll also do hitting our peak heart rate 1 to 2 times a week, specifically with some type of high intensity aerobic training. You got to find a way to build all that in. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not. Because all we're doing is we're alternating days. In general, we're alternating weight training days, mobility, and cardio days. If we build those in an effective way, we can progress you over any amount of time, 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, to get to where you want to go. So generally, our programs here at Muscle Intelligence are about 8 months long because we found it's the perfect amount of time to not only get the result, but teach you how to sustain it, which we call a lifestyle operating system. You need an operating system on how to train. You need an operating system on how to sleep. You need an operating system on how to eat when you're out. You need an operating system on how to eat when you travel. If life right now is not the right time for you, because I'm busy, it's exactly when you need it. Because I promise you, life is not always going to be easy. And if you're always only resorting back to I'll only do it when times are easy, you're going to continue to fail for the rest of your life. You have to build an operating system that allows you to succeed, especially when times are busy. Because when it's easy, that's easy. Everyone can do it when there's no, I got a weekend off or I'm on vacation. It's easy to train at those times. But when life is busy is when you need the operating system. You need to commit to being disciplined and following through on your commitments. Jen will see you in another video of the Muscle Mastery series for men after 40.